Welcome back, everyone, to another Eat Speed Live, the most delicious live stream in the Metroplex. I'm Bud Kennedy.
And Steve Wilson.
Our guest today is the prolific restaurateur from Houston, Benjamin Berg. He has B&B Butchers in Fort Worth in its seventh year, I guess, been open six. And his new restaurant, also the Butcher Shop next door to B&B, and then Soy Cowboy next in Arlington inside the Lowe's Hotel. I think all in all, there are 19 restaurant concepts in the company. Is that right, Benjamin?
Yeah, there's 19 restaurants and 16 concepts.
You have a tremendous number of different restaurants. You brought Soy Cowboy to Arlington this year. It's a nice Pan Asian restaurant, probably the nicest Asian restaurant west of Dallas for sure. And it's right in the Lowe's across from Texas Live and across from Globe Life and the stadiums there. So it's a new addition. I guess first of all, you should tell people about Soy Cowboy because I bet a lot of people haven't gone yet.
Yeah, so Soy Cowboy, we opened up in June, and we opened up in the new Lowe's Hotel. Basically, that restaurant was around 3 years, 3 years of planning and getting it off. And I would say it's a Pan Asian. It's kind of a journey through Asia with a little Vietnamese, Thai, Japanese, Chinese. And kind of exploring definitely exploring different cooking techniques of meats. So yeah, I would say there's a good range of proteins and steak and kind of different styles of cooking. It's also in our company, it's definitely the most highly designed restaurant we've done to date.
I wanted to ask you about that. It's almost like Six Flags over Pan Asian or something. So
Right.
talk
Yeah.
about about the fire pit.
Yeah. So, we wanted that impact in the middle of the restaurant. I can tell you, I get nervous saying fire around the fire marshals in Arlington. But the
It is not a real fire.
No, it's not a real fire. It's actually really cool. It's water vapors and special lighting that creates the fire effect. But when we were kind of creating the concept and everything, we were using the idea of fire and how that's where everybody's, all cultures, using fire to start cooking. And really, fire started creating the main ingredient really for cooking. And we kind of wanted that to be front and center in the restaurant, in the main dining room, as well as, people sit around a fire to talk, like at a fire camp and everything. So that was the idea of putting it right front and center.
Steve, do you have that photo of the fire pit?
Yes, I had it up a second ago.
Yeah.
I sat right underneath that and did not realize that was not a real fire.
Right. We sat under it and asked them how they could keep it so cool in there.
Yeah.
Talk specifically about some food. What are some of the food items that are popular in Arlington that people are ordering?
I mean, surprisingly, our sushi has been extremely, extremely popular. Definitely the steaks. It kind of depends on the dishes. It depends what the events are going on as well. We push out our steak skewers. The skewers are really popular, like game days, and more the bite foods are little crab tacos, tuna taco. The taco samplers get really popular. And then when it's, let's say, more dining or business oriented, we see a lot more sharing plates. And the idea was to have a lot of items that people could choose and people share instead of just everyone ordering their own entree.
Well, let's be clear. This is a great restaurant. If you're going to the game, it's right across the street.
Right.
But you don't have to be going to the game. I mean, it's a real destination restaurant. You can pull up and park at the Lowe's. I think it's easy to get in and out at lunch if there's not a day game at one of the stadiums. And just go in at lunch I think they have brunch now on Saturday and Sunday, and just going in the early in the day, if you don't want to fight the evening crowd, going in midday is really great. So, are you going to open another Soy Cowboy?
We've been thinking about it, but this one right now, this is the largest restaurant we've ever built. And we want to get it right. We want to, fine tune as we see. Baseball season brings one set of challenges. Football season with games at noon. We open at 9 a.m. A different set of challenges is the Lowe's, which is a big, the Arlington Convention Center. As their conferences and groups start really ramping up, that's another component. And then it's really amazing to me the amount of people that are kind of on that big sports entertainment complex just when there's no events going on. I think it's really special what they're building out there.
It's a big center. It'll just continue to be a big center of activity. This is the new Lowe's Arlington. It's 888 Nolan Ryan Expressway. So it's across from the Live by Lowe's where you may have been before. Let's talk about B&B and update people on B&B. You've been around 6 years. People have come for lunch. They've come for brunch. They know about the values at lunch. They know about you can go through the specials. There's like 7 different pages of specials on the web. You can go through and you can find something affordable if you just want chilaquiles, or if you want a great big dry aged steak, you can find a little bit of everything. So what's new at B&B?
So our newest thing, I would say, which I'm really excited for, it's taken way too long. I mean, even remnants of COVID delays and then permitting, but it should be complete within, I want to say 6 weeks. We're putting a louvered, so it opens and closes, but we're having the ability to close in and cover the patio, which that construction will start probably around I want to say 2 to 3 weeks, and really excited. It'll be able to be closed in the wintertime, all heated, lots of fans, and then when the weather's great, the louvers can open, the sides can go up, and then you're protected from the sun. I'm really excited to add that to the restaurant.
You have, I think people have started learning more about the butcher shop and thinking of it as like a standalone concept. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to pick something up at the butcher shop," or "I'm going to go get that at the butcher shop." You're coming up on the holiday season, which is big there. For people who haven't been, talk about the butcher shop.
So, the butcher shop was when we built the first B&B. That was something near and dear to my heart. I mean, we have great sandwiches. We can get all of our meats in there, but the real, obviously you mentioned the holidays, is we have great Thanksgiving specials that'll be rolled out. You can get brine turkeys, smoked turkeys we'll have. But the butcher shop is just a casual place. You can just stop in at any time, grab a sandwich, made right there, pick up meats. And it kind of has that more nostalgic, old school butcher shop look.
Is there any demand for a brunch or a breakfast in the butcher shop? I know some old school delis open at 8 or 9 in the morning, and you see people sitting around having a little late breakfast and drinking coffee. It's like that the Press Cafe and the coffee places in Clearfork seem to do really well.
Yeah, we thought about opening it up on the weekends and testing it out. But right now, kind of dealing with lunch, I think that we're opening at 10 and into the day.
Steve, I'm going to go on from Soy Cowboy and B&B. Do you have any questions about B&B?
No, I'm at the mentioning brunch. I do like the hash made out of the prime rib. That's really good.
Yeah, hash is my favorite.
The menu is so vast. You can always find. I tell people it's a great place to go, and I've gone with a big group or a big family because anybody, regardless of their taste, can find something they like on the menu. There's everything from hamburgers to to caviar, and they could just do whatever they want. Well, now tell us about your company is growing so rapidly. What is behind? What do you credit for the success and for this rapid expansion?
Well, I mean, the expansion was supposed to not be so all at once, but still, like, issues coming out of COVID. Things got delayed and pushed back, but really, I'd say the success is we have a great team here. We have a lot of real professionals we've been able to attract to Texas, and people with real passion for this. And I don't sleep that much, and I get interested if I'm traveling or there's something I've always wanted to try, whether it's a French brasserie or Northern Italian, more American Italian, what have you. And then figuring out how we can, take that and then make it work in the community we're in. And obviously the opportunities keep coming. And for a while I had a hard time saying no, but.
And you have all these other restaurants in Houston. You
Mhm.
kind of staked out Fort Worth, Arlington as your satellite office, your satellite locations. Not Dallas, but you tell us why you like Tarrant County so much. I guess I should put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we're looking to do more in Tarrant County, Fort Worth right now. We have a great concept. We just opened, and it's called our Buttermilk Baby, which is my idea of the soda fountain, kind of like the new soda fountain. We brought Carvel ice cream from the Northeast, which was the original soft serve, but really family friendly burgers, shakes, fried chicken. But I will tell you, it's working with Crawford Edwards and the Edwards family and Simon, everybody in Clearfork. You just want to do more with them.
Are you bringing a Buttermilk Baby to Clearfork or to Fort Worth?
We don't have anything yet, but it is one of the areas that we're looking to bring it to. Which plus my daughter's at TCU now, so I have even more reason to be up there more.
And she needs a place to have lunch.
Right, she needs a place to work as well.
So she can come and have Wi-Fi and
exactly,
kind of give her a little office and kind of tuck her in there, and then she can bring her friends. I think TCU's enrollment is 11,000. I think B&B Soy Cowboy will probably hold that, don't you think?
Yeah, we could hold that.
I think you could pack that in. Steve, what'd you say? You have another?
Well, I said that the Fort Worth's a big burger town. I mean, of course, B&B burgers are good, but if you have another shop, a fountain shop with burgers, that should do great.
And our chicken.
All our little craft ice cream places seem to do pretty well. What do you think is Clearfork seems to be working real well for you? What do you see Clearfork still as the place to be? There's been so much growth in the stockyards and so many prominent developers coming into the stockyards. What do you see? How do you compare the three markets in Fort Worth, Clearfork, downtown, and the stockyards?
I mean, I think what they've done to the stockyards is amazing, and that development, and since the first day, probably, I don't know, 2016, or when I went up to Fort Worth to visit about Clearfork. I mean, the change and the upgrade of restaurants, and I mean, the Drover Hotel, I think, is one of the coolest hotels I've ever been in. But I don't know. I'm a Clearfork guy. That's where I'd like to be. And operationally, it's just easier for us.
Well, you've gotten close to the TCU people and the Colonial people and the people on that side of town. So you've gotten pretty attached, and you have different crowds. I know you have a crowd that says they go to B&B for brunch all the time, and then you have a crowd that goes to B&B for happy hour, and they're completely different groups of people. They think different people seem to use B&B in a different way. What do what do you want people to think of in general about your company? I mean, you're as big as, counting all the Houston restaurants, I mean, you're as big as some of these big Arizona, California companies that are bringing restaurants in here.
I mean, to think about, I mean, we just want to bring concepts to the areas we go into that we think will fit in and kind of add to the story. Bring something that isn't being told, whether it's food or environment, experience, and kind of add to the culinary and restaurant landscape. Bring something new for people to talk about and to enjoy, really.
And I have a friend in Houston who wants you to tell everybody about Meet Your Meat because she thinks it's a big deal. And I'm going to let you describe that.
So Meet Our Meat is something we started. It definitely was before COVID, but we had. I was looking at the menus one day, and we had so many different cuts of meat, which I think was intentional when we opened B&B, because when I was seeing the larger landscape of the steakhouses had become more corporate, and literally the options of steak became, filet, sirloin, ribeye, and it was getting smaller at the time. And since we dry age, we had wet age, we have Japanese Wagyu, Kobe, American Wagyu from West Texas, and I knew how to do it, and I'm the one tasting it, or when chef brings in a new cut, but it all those meats together are kind of like nobody really has the opportunity to taste meats next to each other, right? Like if you order a 20-ounce ribeye, and it's hard to do a meat sampling, like a wine sampling, and it's really, and when we were doing it and going through it, like it would be a great experience for the guests to really have them one after the other and have it lined out almost like a wine tasting, where you can experience all the meats at once, and then tell the difference between what is white age, dry age, a difference between a Wagyu, American Wagyu dry age to a prime, USDA, to Japanese, and do it at one seating. And I mean, listen, you're going to be full after, and you might have the meat sweats a little bit, but you can get through it, right?
And it's like a steak flight, like a steak.
It's basically a steak flight. I think we have 12 or 13 different cuts, and they're around 1 ounce pieces of each. So you're getting, around 13 ounces of beef, which is a good amount. And you're going all the way from, your filet, USDA filet mignon up to Kobe.
I won't even expect you to know the price off the top of your head, but I'll just tell people to look that up on the website. The next time, it's probably listed when the next special occasion is for that.
Yes.
Well, any other thoughts about the Fort Worth market? Have any tastes changed in the 6 years? Do we eat more beef, less beef? Are you offering plant-based charcuterie anytime soon or anything?
No, we're not. The beef is still king. It's funny. Like Fort Worth Fort Worth has been a great market, but in Houston, tequila's king. In Fort Worth, bourbon and whiskeys are king.
Absolutely.
It's really crazy how different it is. But beef and bacon seems to be the popular choices.
I remember it's been several years, but I went to a party, a really nice home, and the kind of place that a lot of times you would have a full bar, and they said, well, you have two choices here. You can have Coors Light or Crown, and those were the two choices. And that covered everybody. Everybody wanted one or the other, so that pretty well that took care of Fort Worth. Now it would probably be TX instead of Crown, maybe.
Yes,
but,
it's amazing how TX has taken over Crown.
Yeah, the TX were becoming, and I think one of the Louisville whiskey people is opening a location here. We're kind of becoming whiskey town, along with being Cowtown.
But it's really incredible whiskey. That you've seen so many trends of liquor. Like there was that whole flavored vodka trend and everything that just disappeared. But whiskey, just in general, just keeps growing and growing. And I think. And the sophistication of the guests and the people interested in it has really grown. Like people really, really are into learning more about them, tasting.
So it's more than just a national trend of beer down, spirits up. There's actually a higher spirits whiskey interest here.
Oh, that from what we see compared to Houston, 100%. I mean, spirits are up everywhere. In the steakhouses and the finer dining, we never really see much beer. Beer is always less than 1%, but spirits are up for us, and wine is a little down.
You started. I don't know if you started with Smith and Walensky. You were an executive with Smith and Walensky. How has the business changed since then? What's different now?
I mean, from I think now, definitely the guest wants. Before, Smith & Walensky was New York style, just steak on a plate. the guest is a lot more sophisticated. I think there's a lot more demand for more options, for really kind of leaning into the I don't know how you say it, that kind of just steak on a plate steakhouse model. It's great for some classics, but the steakhouse is an amazing. It's different even than a restaurant. I think we owe it now for the guests and for different flavors, and to be more attractive to more diners, is that offering many different options and not just saying here's steak and potatoes. Um, and being creative with our composed dishes, from fish to chicken. I mean, I love our chicken at B&B. I think appetizers are ones where the steakhouse, you can play with different cuisines. You can add in something French or Asian, and I think it's appreciated a lot.
And I love the chilaquiles at brunch. I think
Right.
they're remarkably good. I would never drink. Steve, you have anything else? I'm going to tell people where these restaurants are, but go ahead.
Well, one of the things I do like is watching the carts go by at B&B,
Oh
because
my gosh.
a lot of restaurants don't have that type of a presentation of them going by, and you're kind of, there's a hood, and you're going, okay, he's going to lift it up. What's going to be? So I do like that type of presentation, and seeing what other people are getting as they run by. And then for the Soy Cowboy, like to me, it was like going to Vegas. It just felt like, it really felt bigger than any restaurant around here that I normally have gone to. A very, of course, it's a very nice, the hotel's a really nice concept too. And is there something there that I've tried a good variety, but what stands out to you as something good at Soy Cowboy?
I mean, I lean towards the meats, but I really feel our sushi rolls are surprisingly good. Our chef, he came out of the Zuma in Miami, had an extensive sushi training. The freshness, their technique. That's what I'm really happy that.
It's a sushi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soy Cowboy is in Arlington. It's in the Lowe's Arlington Hotel, 888 Nolan Ryan Expressway, across from Texas Live and Globe Life. And they have breakfast, not breakfast, but brunch on weekends, lunch and dinner every day. And you can, I believe you can get validated parking most of the time at the Lowe's. I don't know if you get it during a game, but.
No. I'll put in one thing, because we saw after our first Cowboys game.
Yeah.
We also now have our own valet during games, so you don't have our own key box, which is really important. I was there for their first home game, and you don't have to wait in line with the hotel guests anymore or anybody else. Soy Cowboy has its own box.
Okay. Well, that's even better then, because I did notice even when I went for lunch, it was a considerable wait at the hotel, because when I finished lunch, it was when everybody else was checking out, and that was
right.
Sorry, that's really great that you've kind of helped that parking situation along. You have a big restaurant. I hope you'll be able to get a lot of people parked and get them in there. And then B&B Butchers is in Clearfork, 5212 Marathon. If you know where Rise is, it's down the road just south. If you know where Rise and Neiman's are, then B&B is on the next street over, and and then the butcher shop is right next door to B&B on Marathon. It's a cozy little, really butcher shop with a glass case and tables with red and white check tablecloths, and place to grab a sandwich and kind of have a more casual lunch. So I really think that that's getting its own identity. So 3 places in Fort Worth. Where should people try in Houston if they say, I want to come to one of these restaurants in Houston, but he has so many? Where do you tell people to come first?
Well, that's a tough one, right?
Which is your favorite child?
Right, kids. I think our newest restaurant, Turner's Cut, which is a very high end style steakhouse with more composed dishes. It's how to say, a more sophisticated style of a steakhouse. But Prime 131, which we opened before that, this one was in my head for years. It's a cool experience because it's all wood fire. Everything is wood grilled steaks. these grill systems are right in the middle of the dining room, and you see all the action. You see the fire, the flames, and it had very industrial look, so that's a little different. Obviously, Annabelle's, our brasserie, I'm really proud of. Very romantic in the evening. They're all good. I mean, you could go to the original B&B.
Well, our guest today has been Benjamin Berg. You can look at the reservations list. There's 4 Sixes Ranch Steaks out in the stockyards at a big name, and there's a big name Cowboy Steakhouse in downtown. But if you look at who gets booked up first on the reservation services, it's probably going to be B&B Butchers in Clearfork, Benjamin Berg's restaurant. Thank you very much for being our guest today on Eats Beat Live.
Thank you, sir.
Until next time, I'm Bud Kennedy.
And Steve Wilson.